What's up, self-healers? Lisa Lightfeather here. Welcome to my channel, Closing the Gap. We make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your healing and your spiritual journey. Well, today I want to come on and kind of speak on the topic of why the empath walks alone, part 2, because it is a vast amount of reasons why the empath chooses to walk alone. Sometimes it's part of their contract, where they don't really have a choice. Previous life decisions and such like that. But the empath walks alone majority of the time because it's where their peace is at. And before they walk in chaotic energy or energy that's being projected onto them, they choose to walk alone. A lot of times in this 3D world, people perceive aloneness as being lonely. And that's part of the issue. People perceive being alone as being lonely. They consider noise as being communication or company. And the chosen empath a lot of times will feel differently than that. 9 times out of 10, noise is nonsense. Equates to nonsense, a very shallow, surface level, inauthentic type of communication, and they're just in each other's presence just so they don't feel alone. Well, when the chosen empath awakens, their vibrational frequency they're so sensitive to every single thing that just being around noise, people just chatting about anything and everything, it becomes energetically heavy for the awakened empath. The awakened empath doesn't do small talk very well. That's basically what it is. And a lot of friendships require small talk. It requires that you talk about nothingness. It's somethingness to the person that's speaking about it, like, okay, how was your day? How was your week? How are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But sometimes the chosen empath, they have been down the rabbit hole so many times that we don't have the capacity to chit chat. It's good for a minute, it's good for a minute, but to just be around someone every single day chit chatting about nothingness, we really can't do. We don't do very well. Now, I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse, but the empath, the chosen empath in isolation feels peace. And when I use the word peace, it feels more like a blessing, right? 9 times out of 10, the empath is able to see that people come together they're inauthentic and it's fake. They're coming together for codependent reasons. They're coming together to chat about their unhealed spaces. And I guess that's therapy in itself, being able to commune about, what you haven't healed or wherever your wounds are at or something like that. Anyways, it's just like a surface level conversation. And so the empath ends up being content with their own presence. Now, one thing the empath does do is they yearn for someone who can actually see them, who's actually been where they've been, right? Who can actually sit in their presence and they don't have to dumb themselves down to have a conversation. Or who doesn't make them feel like they're too much. I've heard that all my life. You're too much. You're too much. Well, I've come to the conclusion that maybe you're not enough. Maybe it's not that I'm too much, and maybe it's that you're not enough. So what the empath does is they kind of mirror the unhealed spaces that are in other people, the work that other people have not done. And it irritates them. They can see in the 3D world the 3D facades that people do every day. And it's just, it's normal behavior. in this earth realm, it's just normal behavior. But when the empath has awakened, on a certain level, it's overwhelming for the empath. I hope that people can understand what I'm saying out there, and that I'm not just talking. But they can see through the 3D facade, the interactions between two people. You're just like, oh my God, it's so fake. And it just gets overwhelming. The awakened empath doesn't burn bridges, right? But because they see, it makes people uneasy. And so bridges burn on their own. People just move away. Now, a lot of people, they get obsessed with the empath, right? The empath no longer plays games. They no longer play the 3D human-like game, right? And they can only do it so much, because at the end of the day, the unhealed empath and the chosen empaths, period, human beings. We are human beings. It's not like we're something special or we've always been here. But we finally are opening up and speaking about what it feels like to be that, right? But it makes people uncomfortable. They think you're saying that you're special or you're better than someone else. Not at all. Not at all. It makes people feel uneasy, but it also makes them very almost obsessed at the same time. They don't like you, but they want to be around you. It's weird. They don't like you. Matter of fact, they hate you. They're wishing you bad. They're sending you the evil eye. They're having all these internal feelings of jealousy and envy. And she thinks she's this and she's fake and she's that. They perceive that you're fake because they're projecting. They're projecting. They don't like your motivation, your dedication, and your ability to push through. Because when the rubber meets the road and it comes time to push through, they would rather drink a bottle of liquor or eat a bottle of pills or do something than escapism. Escapism is what it's referred to. Because escapism can be anything. It can be gambling. It can be sex. It can be... my form of escapism is traveling. I have a weird escapism. If I get hurt or if I get crushed, I will spend my last penny to go to another country. For some reason, I tend to heal better when I'm away from North America for some reason. And I'm not sure why. Maybe that's some previous life stuff, yeah? Sagittarius is the traveler of the zodiac, the international traveler of the zodiac. That's the 9th house. My south node is in the 9th house. That's what it is. It's previous life stuff. I just figured that out right now on my own. Because the 9th house, my south node, and so that means in a previous life, all I did was travel internationally. Higher learning, international higher learning. I probably did something like I would seek gurus and stuff like that to learn from. Right. But that's my escapism in this lifetime. I revert back to my previous life. And that just came to me. I revert back to my previous life where all I did was international travel. That was my safe space. That's what's familiar to me. That's what my spirit remembers. And so when I get hurt or crushed in some way, my escapism or my coping mechanism is to be in another country. The further away that I am from what caused my pain, the better I heal. That's my form of escapism. Well, everybody has a form of escapism. Just some people's form. My form of escapism is quite expensive. But other people's form of escapism, like I'm still paying my credit card from escapism, right? So it does add up. But other people's form of escapism may be finding peace at the bottom of a bottle. The difference between finding peace at the bottom of a bottle and getting on a plane and flying someplace else is that flying someplace else can be quite expensive, but at the bottom of the bottle, there's nothingness. There's nothing there. And then they have to get to the top of the bottle again. They have to get another bottle, whatever that bottle is, right? But what they do is they project onto the empath, because the empath mirrors what they're not doing. When they project their jealousy or their envy or their hate, right? When the empath feels those emotions, because we're human, we transmute it. When we recognize that we're feeling something towards another human being, we transmute it into something good. We see ourselves and we admit that we're having a dark moment, and that dark moment has probably been there for years, but now it's coming to the surface. The reason it's coming to the surface is because now you have the capacity to work with it. You have the capacity to do your shadow work and work with it. The chosen empath sees that as an opportunity, not as something to run from and hide. Oh, here's another dark spot. Let me transmute this. Let me see myself. We want to see ourselves. That's when they say, you're too much. Because we are determined to see ourselves. When they see a dark spot, they just take another swig or pop another pill or whatever the case may be. They don't do the work. And so they get angry when they see that the empath is doing the work. You're fake. You're not who you say you are. They start trying to dig up dirt. Well, the chosen empath is transparent. There's not much dirt you're going to dig up. We stand in our calling. And part of our trauma, the trauma that we've been through, the rapes, the domestic violence, the manipulated mothers, the absent fathers, the abuse, the abusive family, the abusive boyfriends or husbands or wives. We stand in our truth. And a lot of times, people who have not done the work, empath or not, they get jealous of that. When the empath feels envy or jealousy, they're like, oh man. When I started this YouTube channel, right, I have a story. When I started this YouTube channel, like everybody else, I scroll on YouTube and I'm watching YouTubes and stuff like that. I gotta get my nails done today. Oh, sorry, squirrel. And I see other people and I'm like, God dang, how did they get all those subscribers? And wow, that's a lot of subscribers. And I would feel overwhelmed with it. Like I wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I thought, how do you do that? What goes into that? Let me tell you something. This is like having a job. No wonder YouTube monetizes people, because it is literally like having a job. It really is. And even still yet, I'm like, am I going to be able to do this? I still question myself, but every day I get up and I do this. Right? And I'm the type of person that if I don't have the heart to do this anymore, I won't. I'll transmute into something else. That's what the chosen empath does. But a lot of people don't have that capacity to transmute in someone else. They look in the mirror, and 10 years later, they look in the mirror again, and the same shit, different day. Yeah. They look in the mirror and it's the same shit, different day. So for the empath, silence is okay. Yeah. Aloneness is okay. And for the healed empath, aloneness does not equate to loneliness. I have so much stuff to do in a day, it's not funny. I no longer force myself to do it all, because I've learned that kind of makes you miserable. When you have a whole list of things that you want to do and then you force yourself to do it all, it makes you miserable. So I've learned balance in that. So like I said, they're drawn to you, but they resent you at the same time. They love what you do, but they hate you for being able to do it, because you mirror the fact that they are not living up to their full capacity. Every time they see you, and they can't help but see you because they get obsessed, You remind them that they're not living up to their full capacity and they hate you for it. The empath is able to see the motives of others, their true intentions, what lies beyond the smile, what lies beyond the fake hugs, what lies beyond all that. The empath is able to see the motivation of that. Some of the reasons that the empath stays in isolation is because our gifts grow. When we're not around other people, when we're not around authenticity, when we're not around fakeness, our gifts grow. It's almost like spiritual training ground. Yeah. That's what it is. And so these are some of the reasons that the empath walks alone. It's too stressful. It's too overwhelming to be out around people all the time. Yes, we step out. We go do things. We go out and eat. A lot of times we'll go out and eat by ourselves and people watch. It used to be people watching that I did. Now it's energy reading. Honey, let me tell you something. People are entertaining, to say the least. But the empath does crave authenticity in their relationships, but it's rare. It's very rare. People will come after the empath because they want to know, this is what they're doing is, I get crazy emails all the time from people. I want your assistance. I need this or I need that. And I don't mind being of assistance, but I've learned that people will come for you just to test their gifts. They want to see if their gifts are real. And so they come for you. They usually leave pretty disappointed. But they do that. Yeah. Other people that are on their spiritual path. I had somebody send me an email. It was practically a resume before they even said, hi, how are you? My name is such and such. It was a whole resume. I do this and I do that and I do this and I do that and I do that. I was like, what are they doing? Applying for a job? Narcissist. When I meet you, I don't say, hey, my name is Lisa. Yeah, my name's Lisa and I'm a grandmother. And yeah, well, I went to school to be a social worker, but I don't really work in that field. I just, I don't do that. I come up and I say, I read tarot cards and I'm a medicine woman and I have psychic gifts and I have the ability, I have intuitive dreams. And then at the end I say, and so how are you? Honey, somebody does that to you, run. Unless you're offering a job of some sort, I'm not hiring anybody. Right. If I come up to you and I need something from you, I'll say, hey, I was wondering if you had a cup of coffee. And then the conversation opens up and we start talking about gifts and things of that sort. I don't come out the gate just throwing up my gifts on you and expecting you. People are weird. At any rate, when the empath has these emotions and things of that sort, we transmute the energy. When I came on and I started seeing all these people having all these subscribers and stuff, I was like, oh my God, I'll never get there. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And then it hit me. Well, they felt the same way when they started. But that's the key word. They started. And so instead of sitting there on my bum and scrolling and saying, they got 27,000 subscribers, how am I going to do this? And feeling envy, I said, well, how you do that is you get to work. You transmute that energy. You use them as motivation, not use them in the sense that you're taking something from them, but you're admiring them and you use it as motivation. Well, people who don't have the capacity to transmute their darkness because they don't do their shadow work, they just sit there in envy and that shadow grows, and it goes from envy to jealousy. It goes from jealousy to hate. And they start wishing horrible things on you. Financial failure. They start wishing unaliving on you. They start wishing incarceration on you. They start wishing all types of horrible things. But it's a reflection of who they are. It has nothing to do with the empath. But if the empath is not in tune with transmutation, You might say, well, dang, Lisa, how do I transmute something when somebody's wishing something so horrible on you? Use it as fuel. Go harder. Keep going. Keep creating. Keep asking your ancestors and your spirit guides for downloads. What will I talk about next? I wake up with downloads. This is your message for the day. And I think that a lot of the messages that come in when I get up out of the bed is because I'm not the only one going through it, right? Right. So the healed empath no longer needs external validation. They don't need external validation. And the universe will send you signals that you're on the right track. When somebody comes against what you're doing, when they got something to say about what you're doing, you're on the right track. Or, you know what? Sometimes not saying anything at all when they're supposed to be your quote unquote friend is saying something. Sometimes silence is louder than words. I think that deserves a moment of silence. The unhealed empath does not need external validation. And the people that do validate the empath, we thank you for that. We give thanks to the ancestors for that. We give thanks to our spirit guides, to our higher self, to God, the universe. We give thanks for that. You are so appreciated. Yeah? Because it's kind of like cheering us on. Keep going. Yeah? And so with that being said, I want to give thanks to my subscribers, for my followers, and for anybody new that comes aboard. Welcome. And thank you for your encouragement to keep going. Because trust me when I tell you, there's plenty of encouragement that wants us to stop. And I'm sure that you have that as well. Empaths, transmute that energy. When you feel it, they want you to stop, that they want you to fail. And they don't just want you to fail, they want you to fail in traumatic ways. Like I said, even to the point of wanting you to be unalived. They want you to fail. You take that energy that you feel. It's not in your head. You're not paranoid. You're not like, oh gosh, one of these people that think everybody's against them and such. You're not that. What you're feeling is real. You take that energy and you transmute it into whatever it is you're doing. If you're working at the gas station and you feel that somebody's envious of you because you got a job at the gas station, you transmute that energy until you're the manager of that gas station. If you're a nurse's aide and somebody's jealous of you because you're a nurse's aide, or all you do is wipe butts all day, blah, 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 whatever they got to say about it, you transmute that energy until you're an RN or until you're running the nursing home. Don't you let nobody stop you. Don't you let nobody stop you. Don't you let everybody in your energy either. People will perceive that you quit because you don't let everybody in your energy. No, we didn't quit. We're just better using our discernment. We're more cautious about who we allow in our energy because we learned the hard way. This is the way the empath learns. You learn the hard way that you can't help everybody and everybody ain't your assignment. Now, very, very few people get my gifts. Very few. And when those few that get the gifts, baby, it has to be a clear download from my ancestors that says, assist this person. I used to assist them because I needed validation in my gifts. I want to help everybody. I was doing the unhealed empath thing. Not anymore. If I'm not giving it from my ancestors clear that I'm supposed to assist someone, whatever you're going through, you can go through it all you want to. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not your person. I have not heard from my ancestors that I am your person. Because there's a lot of evil people out there who are jealous of your gifts, empath. They're jealous of the work that you do. They're jealous of your dedication. They're jealous of your ability to show up every single day because they don't have the capacity to do it. They dream about it. They're in la la land about it. They get jealous about it. No. That's not the way we roll. So that's what I have for you today, empaths, is to take all that jealousy, that envy, that hate, wishing on your downfall, all that competition. People want to compete with you under pretense of needing help. You take all that and you transmute it and you grow in whatever it is that you're doing. The healed empath is an alchemist. They see what others don't see. They see through the performance. They see through the facades. They see through the inauthenticity. They see when people are still in their creative gifts. I see my creative gifts all over town. I often call back my creativity. Often. Because people will take your creative gifts. And if it's something I'm not doing, then I don't care. Go for it. But I still call back my creative energy. Because I transmute it into something else. Yeah? So, their projections are not a reflection of your worth. Their projections are a mirror. You are a mirror of their unhealed wounds. And they project those unhealed wounds on you. They don't really want to be around you, but it's a push-pull. Yeah? So remember, empaths, that what other people project on you has nothing to do with you and has everything to do with their unhealed spaces, yeah? Whatever they want to do with that is fine. But I'm going to say something for you, the people who are projecting their unhealed spaces. The empath takes those unhealed spaces and we transmute it. We do our shadow work and we transmute it into something productive. When you don't transmute that energy, it sits in your soul. Yeah, you can project it all you want to, but it sits in your soul and it festers into something else. It manifests into the 3D body. Yeah, it manifests into the 3D body. Your hate and jealousy is in the heart. And so when hate and jealousy is sitting in the heart, racism is sitting in the heart, envy is sitting in the heart. It's like a poison sitting in the heart. And you can project it all you want, but it still sits in the heart and it manifests into something else. When control and being competitive, not because you're being competitive because it's a fun sport and it's a human thing to do. You're being competitive because you want to test your own skills, because you don't trust your own skills. So you want to compete against someone else so that you can test your own skills. Come over here and get demolished. I promise you that. But anyways, they want to come over and they're going to compete with you. That lies in the stomach and the solar plexus, and it manifests into stuff like stomach cancer and ulcers and digestive issues. The heart, well, you already know what that manifests into. You're speaking nasty about people, it manifests into thyroid issues. I'm telling you. I'm trying to share something with you. I'm not projecting. I'm trying to share something with you that all those emotions, there's a price to pay for not transmuting the shadow. It will, not only does the shadow grow and you just get worse and worse and worse, but it manifests into the 3D body, into illness. Why do people want to compete with you? Because they don't trust their own gifts. Deep down inside. And they see you more than you see you. Yep. Well, I don't like my videos to get longer than 30 minutes. Yeah. And I don't want to rattle on. But remember, empaths, Transmute the energies, transmute those negative emotions into something positive. Use it as fuel. Use their projections as fuel. The more they project on you, the harder you work, the harder you grind, the deeper you dig in. You hear me? You keep going, empaths. And remember, their projections are not a reflection of who you are, but a mirror of their unhealed spaces. You can see where a person is unhealed by what their medical records look like. Where it manifests at. And manifests in the lungs, that's a heart issue. Hatred, jealousy, envy. So you take all that negativity and you transmute it. Who cares what they think? Transmute it, empath. Transmute it and keep growing. Do your work. Do your meditations. Meditations opens your third eye. When you open your third eye, you open your creativity. Do your sex magic. Open your sacral chakra so your creativity just overflows. Ideas start coming. And don't think that your ideas are weird and wrong or crazy. Nobody will ever like it. Because there's hundreds of people waiting on that crazy, weird idea. They're waiting on it. And as soon as you do it, you know what they'll say? Why didn't I think of that? Keep going, empaths. I hope that you guys are having a great week thus far. I'm coming back later with a tarot card reading. Yeah, I'm starting to integrate the tarot card reading with the conversations. See where that goes. Anywho, you guys have a good day. I'm wishing you the absolute best. May your ancestors, your guides, your gods, whoever, walk with you when you're coming and going. You are protected from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. You are surrounded by protection. Y'all have a good week. We'll chat with you later. If you like my energy, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe drop a comment. And if you're really feeling my vibe, don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you know the next time that I upload. Y'all have a good day. We'll chat with you later. Bye-bye.